once you get up over 7 or 8 units, it's a different game, because then you're buying a business that's standing on its own. It's different lending rules. It's completely different. But if you just want to retire a millionaire, and I don't know, then just buy a duplex and pay it off and one side, and then it's just gonna pay for your life. Like, you could literally, with real estate, I find people are just going in, they just want so much, and it's like, you know what, you can really keep it simple.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Real Estate Pros podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Kessel, and today I'm joined by someone I'm looking forward to chatting with, Michael Currie, who is a real estate investor as well as consultant, property manager, and he has created the Landlord by Design blog. So excited to have you here today, Michael.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. So yeah, let's dive in. First off, for those who are not familiar with you and your work, can you share what your main focus is?
I'd say, so my main focus is, I started blogging back in 2015, and that led to a couple of books. I wrote, my first book was based in the property management space, because I found a lot of times when I started investing in real estate, everyone's talking about the hype. Like, there's always someone that wants to sell you a building or a course or that type of thing. So I felt that the thing that really smacked me in the face when I started real estate investing was the challenges faced with in the property management area, the customer relations, and just some of the issues that come up pretty regularly as the portfolios start to build. And so I ended up started blogging as almost like, it all started out as almost like sort of therapy, just sort of writing about what it's really like to be a landlord and what those experiences are like. And then over the time, I just went with that. And then from that, of course, led to a lot of people saying, well, how do you invest in real estate? And that's my second book, Landlord by Design 2. Is just basically a rundown on 20 ways you can participate in the real estate space. And some of them cost $0 and some of them cost millions.
Awesome. And which markets do you operate in?
I'm in Canada, so I'm in the east coast of Canada, in Nova Scotia.
Great. And so when you started investing, how did that journey progress? What do you feel have been some of the main keys that have allowed your business to be able to grow successfully?
I think when I started, so what happened was, in the early 2000s, we did some flips, like from, I'd say, like 2001 to 2009, and then I started to get into buy and hold real estate in around 2009. And at first, what I would recommend, or recommend people, is really set out an objective. And I think for me at the time, it was more about doors. I wanted more doors than so I was going for quantity over quality, and that's what got me into if I could go back in time, I probably would have slowed down the pace, but then and went for more quality over quantity. And so as I've simplified over time, and now that I'm starting to cash out on some of the investments, because it does take time, it does seem like you can make it a really simple operation if you want it to be super simple, and you can make good money, or it can be whatever you want it to be.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Yeah, absolutely. And what type of real estate investments did you focus on?
The multifamily is kind of my area, so kind of I'd say like small multifamily, like more looking for like what I call B grade buildings, like just regular good quality tenants, relatively easy to manage properties, that type of thing.
Awesome. And you have a background in property management as well. Can you share how that experience went for you? Any challenges that you overcame during that portion of your business?
I think for me, I really felt like it's a real customer service business, and I think what I find for me anyway, as I find like I always try to negotiate out a deal with the tenants, and always focus on the end goal. Like try not to be too emotional. And I found sometimes you might get emotional because someone's not paying. Well, the objective is to get them to pay. So just focus on that objective. And if you can get some money out of them, or it works out, or if you have, I've turned over cash for keys, but sometimes you have to swallow your pride and look at the end goal of what the big picture is of getting a bad tenant out, for example. Or on the flip side of that, or what is it to keep a good tenant, like sometimes, for us where we're trying to burn a little bit of money, as far as increase expenses where we have revenue coming in that we aren't using, is we'll go and upgrade tenants properties, like everyone's got heat pumps, everyone's got, sometimes they're like, yeah, we're putting new windows into your property, so, and that type of thing, and just really focus on the human side of property management. So
Yeah, absolutely. And is that something that you're still doing?
I manage my wife and I manage a couple of properties ourselves, just because, I always feel like I write in the space. So I always like keep my toe in the water. So we manage three properties. So right now, I don't know. I think you're frozen
Awesome.
right there.
What have
Sorry.
been some of the biggest challenges that you've had to overcome in your investing career?
I'm sorry. You're just cutting on me there. Sorry about that. So,
Um, yeah,
so
I asked what have been some of the biggest challenges that you've overcome in your real estate career?
On the property management side, I mean, or on
Whichever,
which area?
just yeah, in general.
I mean,
If you're looking for consistent, high quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
on property management, I did get into. I bought a what I would call a C building, and I did have a some kids in the neighborhood. Well, there was a police involved, and they were trying to hit me with a baseball bat, and I got into a pretty big altercation that I had to diffuse, and then work out a deal with them. And it all worked out in the end. I wrote about it, but I've been into some pretty sketchy situations like that. I think one of the challenges that I faced early on when we started buying properties was we had incorporated, so we had a company, and I had gone to the bank that I've been dealing with for years and years on flips, like no problem, like buy a house, fix it up, sell, that sort of thing. And then I asked them, I said, well, I talked to the bank and it was like a major, a regular bank. And I said to them, I said, well, what if we want to start buying some multifamily? And they said, well, in a company name. And they were like, well, you're not going to be able to do that. Like there's going to be all these restrictions. And they went on. And I was like, oh, well, that's kind of disappointing. So then I had contacted, to ask around some other friends, some other real estate investors, and like, nah, you got to go to a mortgage broker, right? Like you got to find the right source. And at the time, I was like, so I went to a mortgage broker, and I said, who turned out to be the guy that set up money for us for years and years now. And I asked him, I said, so what do we need to buy a property? And we were only looking to buy, it was like a duplex, a side by side. I said, but we want to buy it in a company name. And he's like, well, you're going to guarantee it. At the time, I was like, you guarantee it? I was like, yeah, it's not a problem. We'll guarantee it, but it's going to be in the corporation. And he's like, do you have down payment? I was like, yeah. It's like, not a problem. And I was like, well, what if we want to buy another one? It's like, you got down payment for that? I said, yes, I do. I got two deals lined up. He's like, no problem. Like easy. So I think it's just finding, like, don't accept the first no, and look for experts. Like there's people out there. Lenders don't get paid unless they lend money. And you just gotta, if you can present the right case for them that it makes sense for them to lend the money, they will. So just don't give up and you know, and don't rely on just conventional banks. There's lots of options.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, what are you most focused on solving or scaling to next in your business?
For me, where I'm a little older. I'm 53, so I'm kind of on the downhill. Just kind of say what I'm doing is actually kind of neatening up the portfolio. So we've paid off some properties, and so we're setting it up as more of an income solution, I guess, be the best way to describe it. So we just kept we've scaled the portfolio down to keep it super simple. I'm a big believer in neutralizing your expenses and everything in your life. So one thing for us, like we have a couple of suites in a part of our house that we rent out that cover all our living expenses, all that sort of thing. Just right off the bat. So that's so our focus is more, my wife and I just kind of winding it down. So
Yeah, amazing. And so, what does the consulting practice of your business look like?
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
For me, it's like, I think, well, because I blog and folks reach out it's pretty regularly. So usually what happens is, unfortunately or fortunately, I guess for me, is that someone will get into the weeds. Like, they'll have some sort of property management. It's all in the property management space, and they'll reach out and they'll be like, okay, what can I do to solve this problem? And a lot of times they are in the they may not have the knowledge. Like, I find that professional tenants or sometimes the riskier tenants tend to pick on smaller independent landlords because they might not know. And the other side of that is when people, I'm working with a lot of people and looking at the type of properties they want to buy and what their expectation is, just setting the expectations of what they can expect as far as return on investment. Because in the last few years, what's happened um, in a lot of places throughout Canada and the U.S. anyway, is that people have bought properties, renovated the snow, like just renovated like granite countertops, and and they have this expectation of these high rents, for these little flats. And what's happened is that people are building like buildings that there's so many apartment units coming online. It's actually putting downward pressure on the rents in the marketplace. So you'll have someone that say, well, I bought this property, I put all this money into it, now I'm cash flowing negative $500 a month. So what I try to do is catch people before that and say, this has to be expectations. If your real estate strategy is to negative cash flow, which I wouldn't recommend, but if that's what the strategy is, but know the strategy. Because sometimes it is. If somebody has a bunch of cash that they want to get rid of or whatever, like there's all kinds of reasons, but just knowing what their objectives are. And I think if I had a better, clearer path on that kind of mentorship side, I probably would have made some smarter decisions, but live and learn.
Yeah, amazing. And so, what advice would you give to someone that's early on in their investing journey or looking to start?
I think it's really to understand the objective of what they want out of it. Like, I find a lot of people want to make it really overcomplicated, but realistically, it's like, even with my you can have a house and you can rent out a room in a house, and maybe that covers your car payment, and that's what you want out of real estate, right? It's a pretty simple way to participate in real estate and do something good for yourself. Or maybe you want to put a backyard suite in, or a basement apartment, or so I would say for younger people, like, buy a set of flats or a triplex that's going to cover either all of or most of the mortgage and give you something that you can expense things. You can expense the interest, you can expense a lot of stuff against that property. So definitely get into that. And it also introduces you to property management, which is going to be your biggest challenge. And it's not about just hiring property managers, because I've had some bad property managers along the way. Sometimes you got to manage the property manager, right? So it's not as simple as just turning it over. So I would recommend, especially if you're going to stay a little smaller, it's like to just keep it simple at first until you really have a good grounding on what you want to do with it. And then, because if you're going to scale into bigger buildings, once you get up over 7 or 8 units, it's a different game, because then you're buying a business that's standing on its own. It's different lending rules. It's completely different. But if you just want to retire a millionaire, and I don't know, then just buy a duplex and pay it off and one side, and then it's just gonna pay for your life. Like you could literally with real estate, I find people are just going in, they just want so much. And it's like, you know what, you can really keep it simple. Maybe buy a couple duplexes. Like you can become pretty financially self-sufficient really, really easily with real estate without too much, really too much effort. And I think that people really overcomplicate it. They get into complicated financial scenarios and they get into complex problems, too many units without really a basis, and then they're getting calls for maintenance and repair stuff all the time, or bad tenants, or whatever the case may be, right? So keep it simple.
Yeah, I think that's a great strategy. So, if someone wants to keep it simple, what would you like suggest the actions that they take would be?
I think, for me, if I go back in time, which I would be to just get a hold of a property, get control of a property that you can either rent rooms in or rent space in, probably as young as possible, and the rest will take care of itself. So if it's just buying a house that you're just gonna rent out 3 or 4 rooms in it, and that's about like be picky. That's what will introduce you to being fussy and tenant screening, and it'll teach you a lot about people and human interactions and property management and running a business, because each property is its own little small business. And sometimes people don't realize that. And then if things go wrong, like with interpersonal problems, like with maybe with a tenant or whatever, or contractors, wherever you're falling out, it's all a learning experience. Like, there's no real bad experience or good experiences. They're all just experiences, and just it's how you react is what makes the difference. So, where I find a lot of people I find in the real estate groups, and is they're a little bit petty when it comes to stuff, and it's like, no, don't be petty. If like look at the big picture.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you for sharing all of that. That is helpful. So, before we wrap up here, if someone wants to reach out, connect, learn more, where can people find you and connect with you?
On landlordbydesign.com. It's probably my best source. All my contact information is there. Like I said, you can Google me if you Google Michael Currie.
Okay, perfect. Well, appreciate your time and your story. Thank you for being here. And for the listeners tuning in, if you got value, make sure you've subscribed. We've got more conversations with operators like Michael who are building real businesses. We'll see you on our next episode.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.